Hello, good evening, and welcome. You've just entered the arena. I'm Michael Coren, and what a show we have for you this evening. Also, we have Gary McHale on the show discussing Caledonia, where the battle lines have been drawn for, well, some years now. But this could be anywhere in Canada and may well be replicated all over the country before very long. Aging and aching conflicts, dusty with history and rusty with legal wrangling. As with most of these incidents, there are compelling arguments on all sides, I suppose. Residents argue that the police are not doing enough to protect their freedom of movement and property. Police complain that their hands are tied by cowardly politicians. Aboriginals argue that the land was stolen from them in the first place. Well, at least some of them do. Elected leaders, traditional elders, young activists all have their own views and agendas, and often they're in sharp disagreement. Within white mainstream Canada, however, the debate over native issues is smothered by political correctness and the fear of being labelled as racist. What is so ironic about this is that the bulk of this country is composed of people who suffered just as much as the First Nations. Yes, I said it. Highland Scots, Ukrainians, European Jews, Irish Catholics, Black Africans, Chinese, Vietnamese, victims of communism, all experienced massacres, mass starvations, rape, pillage, destruction, attempted genocide. Many of them never received any compensation, are never likely to do so either. Those devastated by communism have to remain silent as teenagers wear T-shirts emblazoned with the hammer and sickle or portraits of Marxist murderers. Yet they move on, as we all do. I watch each day as my 18-year-old son leaves for work with his heavy backpack, working 40 hours a week and more, and often coming home so tired that he collapses into bed. He does this so as to pay for at least part of his university education. Now, if he were native, much if not all of that education will be paid for by the state, by you and me. My wife's family lost property and safety in India and had to flee their homeland. My family was deprived of everything in Eastern Europe and had many relatives slaughtered. Nobody is offering to pay for our children's further education, and frankly, none of us would expect it. Is it time for the native world to put its own house in order and stop relying on undoubted past wrongs to explain current problems? Should we be compensating people for the experience of residential schools when many of these institutions were not the vile caricatures painted by activists and the mainstream media? Do the land claims have any relevance in the modern world, and is it not time for a new vision to be created? Have we idolized and idolized native culture and history and blackened the reality of the European and Christian legacy? Are we willing to hold individuals accountable for dependency and addiction problems? Now, these are questions being asked by millions of ordinary, compassionate and generous Canadians who wish only peace and happiness for their native brothers and sisters. Within the answers, there may, just may be truth, or maybe more political nonsense. One thing is sure. With weak, wandering, windy politicians in power and a police force increasingly at the mercy of political fashions, the thug will still rule the day, and the good Canadian will have to pay.